Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And then good evening to you from wherever you are joining us this moment. It is Mayegun Live. Should I say officially, it is Democracy Day in Nigeria today. Democracy. We got to a point that democracy lule. Be Oshekini Olule. Oshekeji Olule. Ode Shubu lori TV.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Remember, after reading the caption of the broadcast, reading the description of the broadcast, you need to share it right now. The Agbadorians, the bastards, the bad idiots, they are now organizing a pity party right now. And most of you have been invited to that pity party. Do not pity anybody. Because they don't pity anybody. You get that? Don't join their pity party. Just invite them to join Mayegun. I've got so many knocks here that we can actually knock their heads, right? Virtually. So read, share, invite, and tell everybody that. But today, you know why I am going to be like this for this brunch time? It is because I have seen this happen many times. You will see the typical Nigerians lying to themselves, defending the criminals, making lives hell for them. And then, once a mishap, a calamity, or something shall happen, especially if it is about hunger, they want you to not mock them. All of us are, if you want to grow old, don't mock old people. These people don't want us to grow old. So, yeah, if that is the only thing we're going to take out of them, fine. Disgraceful element that were supposed to be in old people's homes. They want to be the one to decide our future. And yet, we can see how much they are actually capable of doing, right? They want you to feel sorry. They want you to feel sorry and then don't mock them. Don't laugh. Laugh, laugh, Majority of them told us that they were actually wishing evil to happen to us so that they can now use that to say, Shebi, we told you not to laugh at So if I am going to hurt your feelings, right? Be my guest, okay? But that is not going to be all we're going to do today, all right? It's just going to be like part of it. We're going to be really petty. I'm going to be petty. And if it makes you feel mad, be my guest. For the next 3 hours. But if you think you're not up for it, please don't watch again, all right? Today is considered Democracy Day in Nigeria. How far has democracy helped you? How far? So, a lot of people with what happened today in Nigeria shows that they'll probably take anything apart from this demonstration of craze yesterday. In fact, for like a week now. The Take It Back movement, Dore and what is that guy? Juwon. What's the guy's name again? That young guy that was right here. So Juwon and others, they've been kind of mobilizing and telling people that they are going to have Hunger Day. I don't know. I think it's called Hunger Day. Something to say that they are hungry. A being power day. So if this is what is going to be the symbol of their demonstration of grace, the police was not going to have any of that. So as usual, even though in the last few days, Baba, more than 70 people were slaughtered in Katsina alone, Bokwari State, Kankara, over 70 people by the terrorists. In Niger State, over 40 people. Baba, across northern Nigeria, more than 25 policemen, soldiers they've been slaughtered. In the last few days, just few days, I'm not saying this year, 23 policemen, soldiers have been killed by the terrorists in that same axis. We didn't know they were planning and then organizing dinner, Democracy Day dinner. They will even put a camera in front of a call to speak to Nigerians. And indeed, I'm going to play you that, okay? Don't worry. It is recorded. He's reading it from somewhere. It's going to be annoying. It's going to be boring. It's lying through his teeth. But nevertheless, let it be on record. Before Tinubu fell and tumbled today, in what many are not actually seeing as karma, some said maybe Tinubu no chop self. People, they fall down everywhere. Old people, young people, hunger everywhere in Nigeria. Maybe your president yourself. Hunger the wire around. Even though that's going to be like an oxymoron or something. But before Tinubu tumbled, he was in front of a camera last night when they recorded this message that they broadcasted to Nigerians today. I'm going to start with that. Let's start with the boring part first. Then we go to the interesting and more interesting parts. Ladies and gentlemen, call this morning.
No abstract concept devoid of real life. My fellow Nigerians, let me begin by congratulating all of us for witnessing the celebration of another Democracy Day today, the 12th day of June 2024. This year also marks our nation's 25 years of uninterrupted democratic governance. On this day, 31 years ago, we entered our rites of passage to becoming a true and enduring democratic society. Going through this passage was hard and dangerous. During the fateful 6 years that followed, we fought and struggled for our natural rights as human beings, put on this earth by the divine hand of our Creator. We lost great heroes and heroines along the way. In this struggle, the winner of June 12, 1993 presidential election, Chief MKO Abiola, the most significant symbol of our democratic struggle, his wife, Kudirat, General Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, and Pa Alfred Iwani, amongst others, sacrificed their very lives. They bravely surrendered their fortunes so that our nation might have a better one. Let us honor the memories of Chief Anthony Enahoro, Chief Abraham Adesanya, Commodore Dan Sulaiman, Chief Athon Wanko, Chief Chukwuemeka Ezebe, Admiral Ndibusi Kanu, Chief Frank Kokori, Chief Bola Ige, Chief Adekunle Ajasin, Chief Gani Udaudu, Chief Ayo Fasami, Chief Gani Fawemi, Chief Olabi Idrojaye, Dr. Beko Ransom Kuti, Chima Ubani, and others who have transited to higher realm. The sacrifices of General Alani Akinriyade, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, Professor Wole Soyinka, Chief Rab Obio.
Nuisance lele.
Let's skip that part. I want to go to the part where he was talking about waiting the shege una the face for Nigeria. Okay? So why he knows that you face the shege, but there's no other way out of it. You are sacrificing. Okay? Because you see those names he's mentioning as the victims of the military persecution. Now, democracy is in Nigeria. Now, Abi, do you think Nigeria has a democracy? At least you did Nigeria. You did inside Nigeria. Can you call what you have inside Nigeria democracy? Or renewed shaggy or renewed slavery? So let's go to that part. Let's keep all that,
No abstract concept devoid of real life meaning for us. Neither can we afford to reduce or minimize it to being nothing but the mere holding of periodic elections where one candidate and party outdo another. While elections attract democratic attention, they are but one aspect of democracy. Democracy is a way of life that encompasses a broad outlook of which elections are but a part. As such, a nation can have elections without being democratic, but a nation cannot be truly democratic without holding elections. That we have established a tradition of holding transparent, open, and fair elections gives credence to our democratic standing. That we have experienced peaceful transitions of government affirms our democratic temperament. Fellow Nigerians, true democracy shined its light on the daily lives of the people who live under its nurturing wings. It affords us the freedom and liberty to think as we want, live where we want, and pursue whatever legitimate endeavors suits us. Democracy does not assume some false or forced unity of opinion. In fact, democracy assumes that conflicting ideas and differing opinions shall be the order of the day, given the diversity and variety of the human experience. There must be diverse perspectives and viewpoints. What democracy demands is that we do not resolve differences through force and repression, but to make allowance for the legitimacy of views that differ from our own. The other forms of government imposed against the will of the people. Democracy aims to make leaders who conduct themselves as servants of the common good, not as viceroys of the narrow interests of the might. My dear compatriots, Nigeria faced the decision of untold gravity 25 years ago, whether to veer towards better destination or continue aimlessly in fog of dictatorship. We made the right choice then. We must continue with that choice now. As Nigerians, we must remind ourselves that no matter how complicated democracy may be, it is the best form of governance in the long run. We must also be aware that there are those among us who will try to exploit current challenges to undermine, if not destroy, this democracy for which so much has already been given. This is the great battle of our day and the major reason we specially celebrate this day as Democracy Day. The true meaning of the day is not to focus solely on the great deeds of the past that have brought us to this point. Yes, we pay eternal honor to those who laid down their lives, sacrificing everything to pave the way for the nation. I stand uniquely placed in this regard, and I was among those who took the risk to midwife the birth of our democracy. I am now a direct and obvious beneficiary of the fruit of those historic efforts. As a president of this nation, I am morally and constitutionally bound to preserve this precious form of governance. I vow to do my utmost best to protect your rights, freedom, and liberty as citizens of Nigeria. Even more than that, I pledge to do whatever is necessary to cement democracy as our way of life. Although the challenges are steep and multiple, I am grateful to lead Nigeria at this moment in our history and point in our democratic journey. I come before you also to declare that our most important work remains before us. The real test has never been whether we will rise to the challenge, the sling of misfortune and grievous pains of dictatorship. The real test is whether we shall lower our guns. No abstract concept.
Remember, like they did a good job enough that the editing, the cut and join and everything was like, smooth. But that was called, now to the interesting part, to let all of you know that you have not died. I mean, you are still alive. You are not dead yet. Some people die for this democracy. So whatever you are going through right now, you are still paying the price. Endure. Now that's the interesting part. His message to you
is whether we shall lower our guns and fail to defend democracy as the shadow of despotism and its evident physical danger fade. I say to you here and now that as we celebrate the enshrinement of our political democracy, let us commit ourselves to the fulfillment of equally important counterpart, the realization of our economic democracy. I understand the economic difficulties we face as a nation right now. Our economy has been in desperate need of reform for decades. It has been unbalanced because it was built on the flawed foundations and over-reliance on revenue from exploitation of oil. The reforms we have initiated are intended to create a stronger, better foundation for future growth. There is no doubt that the reform has occasioned hardship. I feel your pains. Yet, there are necessary repairs required to fix the economy over the long run so that everyone has access to economic opportunity, fair pay, and compensation for his endeavor and labor. As we continue to reform the economy, I shall always listen to the people and will never turn my back on you. In this spirit, we have negotiated in good faith and with open arms with organized labor on a new national minimum wage. We shall soon send our executive bill to the National Assembly to enshrine what has been agreed upon as part of our law for the next 5 years or less. In the face of labor's call for national strike, we did not seek to oppress or crack down on the workers as a dictatorial government of the past would have done. We chose the path of cooperation over conflict. Nobody was arrested or threatened. Instead, the labor leadership was invited to break bread and negotiate towards good faith resolution. Reasoned discussions and principled compromise are a hallmark of democracy. These themselves shall continue to animate my policies and interaction with the constituent part of our political economy. I take on this vital task without fear or favor, and I commit myself to this work until we have built a Nigeria where no man is oppressed. In the end, our national greatness will not be achieved by traversing or traveling the easy way. It can only be achieved by taking the right one. The words of American President Franklin Roosevelt sadly ring true, and I quote, "There are many ways of going forward, but only one way of standing still," and unquote. We dare not slumber, lest the good things awaiting our immediate future pass us by. We dare not plant our feet in the idle standstill in the middle of the intersection of hope and despair. We know the proper way forward, and we shall take it. The initial rays of a brighter tomorrow now appears on the horizon. An abundant future and our capacity to achieve that future lies within our reach. Democracy and the institution it begets over to take us to our profound destination. Let us board this progressive train together. And together, let us move Nigeria forward. Let's continue to keep the fire of democracy burning. Let's keep the torch lit for generations to come. May God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And nuisance lele.
Don't forget. So that last part, Kolu said he feels your pains. Okay? And all this pain, that they are necessary because he is carrying out a reform. But by in truest sense, anyone here can tell me any major investments in the real sector of Nigeria made by Kolu in the last 1 year. They told you that they removed subsidy so that they could use that money to better your lives while you are paying through your nose. I mean, through your noses, right? And then the cost of living crisis continue to drown even the strongest of you. Right? So the likes of Kolu feels your pain. Okay? But now you found out that you have been deceived. And they are still deceiving you. Those of you who believe that the suffering that you had, the hardship that you had to go through when Kolu said subsidy was gone. You were convincing yourself that it was worth it. In the long run, the refineries will be working. The roads will be the roads will be motorable. And they will invest the money in education too. Up to this moment. When I don't collect your student loan, by the way, I you started collecting it. Now it's all graduate. What future is he talking about? And that future he said is building. Who are those who are going to exist in that future? The dead, hungry Nigerians of now. Are those the ones he's building the future for? Is that not the same future that Bokwari said he was building? That some of you bled. You bled. You starved. You suffered for 8 years. And the Aminals, they were there cashing out hundreds of billions of your money stolen, trillions of that gone into private pockets. And yet, those of you who were waiting for the reward of your sacrifices because you love Nigeria, you have